Some of the key outcomes I want to talk to you about in the development of your budgets is the importance of budgeting and how it sets the roadmap for you to achieve your big picture plan. To take a look at where you are now currently and where you want to be and what do you have available to you in taking you to that next place. I want to talk to you about the internal and external data and to encourage you to stop navel gazing, so stop looking internally but also then looking at the external environment in which you're operating in. It's all about the big picture. So monitoring is important, and there's some of the key concepts that I want to outline with you today. Budgets set the plan of the projected income streams into your service and also then the expenses that you're expecting to incur over a given period of time. The budget is set for that future period of time. It's either the upcoming year, and it's generally broken down into quarters or months. They are a plan of action set out in measurable terms. So those measurable terms are your dollars or units, and they become your measurement of how you're tracking towards your budget. Budgets are a brilliant management tool that enables you to forecast into the future, identifying whether there's going to be any shortfalls or gaps, whether there's going to be greater spend than the income that's coming in to your organisation, when that may occur, and then it enables you to come up with a strategy to avoid them by either generating more income or doing some more fundraising or having access to some short-term funds such as a credit card or an overdraft that will be paid back when things swing back into the positive that you're hoping for. Budgets support management to get all of the activities and plans for the organisation out onto paper and provide a monitoring tool to see how the organisation is tracking to that prediction. Budgets create the space to ask the question why. So why are we on track? What is going right for the organisation? Or why aren't we on track? And what's happening for the organisation? They're a brilliant management tool to be able to bring that resource to the table and enable engagement and some really effective communication around the financial management and the targets that are being achieved by your service. So a good place to start in developing this meaningful resource is to take a look at your past. So start by asking the question, where have you been? What have you been doing? And then getting really clear about where you want to be going. So let's step out of the work context for a moment and think about something that you would like to do next year. Is it buying a new car? Is it creating an outdoor barbecue area for entertaining? Is it updating the kitchen with new appliances? Or maybe it's about taking a trip to a new place, let's say the Amalfi Coast. How will you make that happen? First of all, we need to identify what are the costs going to be. If it is the trip, then what's involved in making that come to fruition? Do we need to think about the airfares, the accommodation, the transfers, the hire car? Again, as I often articulate, what is your purpose? Get really clear about what it is that you're wanting to achieve. What's the time frame around this trip? What time of year will you be going? How much money will you need? And when will you book? And what deposits will you need up front? And then most importantly, how can you save for that to come to fruition? These are the key questions when setting out your budget of any sort, for any project, for any outcome. So another key question to ask is then, where are you currently at? How much money do you have left over to save for this outcome that you're wanting to achieve? What is your time frame to achieve this objective? And is it realistic and achievable? And then again, how will you know if you're on track? You need to monitor to see that you're achieving those goals on a timely basis. So I'm getting really clear with my purpose. I know what it is that I'm wanting, and I know that I want to go and sit in the sun somewhere. So if I budget for $6,000, which includes a daily estimate of a spending budget for meals, snacks and drinks, I'm covering all of the things that I think need to be taken into consideration. So where am I at currently, and how much money do I have to achieve this goal? One of the questions I need to ask is, what is my current income and what is my current spend? And then how much do I have on a monthly or a weekly basis to set aside for me to achieve this goal? So let's say I have $150 to put towards this holiday each week. How many weeks will it take me to save? to get to the $6,000. It's going to take me 40 weeks for me to reach that target. So I need $2,000 for the airfares and I want to book it as soon as possible. So in, let's say, 14 weeks, I can start booking some flights. I don't necessarily need to wait until I have the total $6,000 before I book. What I'm pointing out to you here is about setting some realistic timeframes and understanding what it is that you're aiming for and around that time frame. So I can map out a time frame when I want to achieve certain milestones to move me closer to bringing me to my goal or to my fruition. This is the same for your organisation, or the same for a new startup idea or an ongoing project. So you need to find that starting point. First of all, you need to get really clear with your purpose and then gather the tools to help map out your pathway to achieve these outcomes. So for organisations that have been in operation, you will have access to what's known as the internal data. Just as in the example of my holiday, my internal data would be what income did I have and what were my expenses and how much can I save towards the target. So for your organisation, this is similar. You have internal data available to you. These are the activities that have previously happened for your service. You'll find this information on your prior year's financial reports, commonly known as your annual report. In reviewing this information, you can reflect on the activities that were achieved and some significant events that may have occurred during that time. And you can get a clearer picture of what the reports are telling you about your activities. So that's about where you've been. Now we want to know where you want to be in 12 months. What's it going to look like? Review your current income streams. Will they be the same? What about your expenses? Are you taking on new staff or downsizing the team? Do you need to relocate in new premises? What are some of the key events that you're aiming to achieve over this next 12 months? These are all critical pieces of information that are going to help you bring your budget together. This is about looking at the external data, the external environment that's going to impact on your income and your expenses over that given period. It's about getting a clearer picture of the outside influences that will impact on your bottom line. So now that you know where you've been, and that's by looking at your historical data, and you know what you want to happen over the next 12 months, it's time to map out some timeframes and get a little closer with the numbers. A good tool to use this, to assist you in this, is an Excel spreadsheet. But don't worry if you don't have access to an Excel spreadsheet or that you don't feel comfortable with it. It's just about getting a big sheet of paper and writing across the top of that page the months of the year, and down the side you want to be looking at the income and the expenses. So down the side of your worksheet you're going to have headings such as grant income, local government community grants, donations, hall hire income, interest, any types of income that you're receiving into your service or that you're projecting that you'll be receiving into your service. And underneath that then you'll list down the expenses that you're going to be expecting to incur, such as advertising, audit fees, bank fees, rent, insurance, salaries and wages. How many staff do you have at the moment and how many will you need? Are they casual, full-time, and what award rates are they on? So these are some of the things that you're going to need to consider in bringing together your budget. So your budget needs to be monitored. It needs to be checked in with regularly to see how you're tracking. And in the case of saving for my holiday, the indicators would be my bank account. Am I actually on track in my savings to where I thought I would be at the end of December? Or did my Christmas shopping blow out? Did I not consider that when I was budgeting? So these are some of the things that you need to forecast for in the timing of your budget. If I'm not on track, then I need to be able to identify that early, and I get to do that through the monitoring process. So I could choose to forego my morning coffee for a month to be able to catch up on those savings if I've overspent. Is this achievable? Or what else could I do? Could I take a casual job to support the shortfall? Because I really want to get on that plane. So what I'm saying here is that all is not lost if we do lose track or we do get off track, but the budget enables us to identify that early enough for us to be able to get back on track. And this is the importance of monitoring. Well, that's a little bit about budgeting, so check out our website for further resources that may assist you, or come along to one of our scheduled workshops or webinars. We wish you well with your plans and achieving your objectives.